Hi everyone, Yusuf here. I'm head of research at Co-Buyers. We are a buyer's advisory, which means we help everyday Aussies and everyday Aussie investors invest in property throughout Australia through search and acquisition services. Today, we have a very special guest, Zarif, and one of our previous clients. And we helped him with the search and acquisition of a beautiful 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. The property managers, when we first got this property, said that we were going to get around 480 a week in rent. With our insights into the data and going a little bit extra, a bit further through the analysis, we found that we could achieve 520 a week from day dot, so zero vacancy. He came to us wanting a passive income type strategy where he wanted higher yield properties, and that was exactly what we found him with a 6.3% yield. Moreover, the property within the first 3 months has increased $50,000 in value. And I think it's an incredible performance for him, as well as it's going to aid him in extracting equity to go again and again and again. Today, I've got a special guest with us, Zarif, who is an artificial intelligence engineer in Sydney. He's actually going to be responsible for the robots taking over. So, how you going, man?
Hey, I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, doing all right, man. Firstly, man, I just wanted to start with what motivated you to get into real estate compared to other avenues for wealth creation.
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess as soon as I started working after graduating from uni, yeah, I always was curious about investing.
Mm,
So I had a look at different avenues, right? So you have stocks, you have
mm,
crypto, but then you always hear that, like property is the most stable,
mm,
has like really good long-term growth. So
mm,
yeah, was always looking into getting a property as soon as I could get the
mm.
deposit.
When you came to us, you told us you had another property. Do you want to just walk us through what your journey's been like in real estate? How you found that first property, whether you used a buyer's agent and all of that?
Yeah, yeah, my journey into real estate really started, I think, with like the group of friends that I had. So
Mm,
it was a specific group of friends. Like I'm pretty thankful for them because they
mm,
were all really into property and buying investment properties. So like
mm,
everything, they sort of I learned a lot from them just by speaking to them because usually it's not something that you really keep in your head
mm,
because
mm,
it's saving a deposit is like a big daunting task,
mm,
especially once you just start working, it's not something you're really looking to do.
mm,
Um, Compared to that, like getting into stocks or anything else where you can spend like a few $100s to get in is a lot easier. So
mm,
so yeah, but yeah, talking to my friends and just through word of mouth, yeah, I found a lot and then doing my own research, found out a lot about how with property you get obviously your rental income to service the loan.
mm,
There's a lot you can the asset appreciates
mm,
and you also save during tax time with the
mm,
deduction. So yeah, about my experience of it, I was after doing my research, I was always looking into buying like houses
mm,
instead of apartments. And yeah, I was pretty flexible. Like so we live in Sydney, but
mm,
I fully like was comfortable with the fact that if you're just starting off, Sydney is a really expensive market to get into. So
mm,
I was completely happy with uh, going for an investment property anywhere in Australia,
mm,
and which is a risk to take, but I was just like, willing to accept that risk. And then it's just about okay, like, but I have zero idea,
mm.
literally zero idea of how to buy that first property, how to do the research,
Yep.
who to get in contact with. So then, um, yeah, like it was pretty easy decision for me to get to use a buyer's agent.
Mm,
Like the two like or like I'll just speak about one really good reason about using a buyer's agent is because like the way the property market moves, like if you're just 6 months late to buying a
mm,
property, you're missing out on quite a lot of like equity growth, right? So
mm.
it's really important to get in as quick as you can. And
Absolutely, yeah.
like even if you spend a bit of money on a buyer's agent, and say you could buy property A or property B.
Mm,
Buyer's agent points you to property A, which is like 5.1% growth,
mm,
and then if you do all your research and buy another property, which is like 5% growth,
Mm.
that 0.1% difference could mean like, tens of thousands of dollars in a few years. So
Hmm. Hmm.
it is a big decision, and you want to get a lot of help with it. That's overall, yeah, what my perspective was going into looking getting a buyer's agent for my first property.
Awesome, man. What was your experience like with this buyer's agent and the property that you purchased?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, the overall experience was good.
Hmm.
It is a lot of trust that you put into a buyer's agent, and I
Yep.
knew that sort of going in.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was my first time doing anything like this, so it was pretty crazy. It was during right after the pandemic as well. So
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
everything was super remote.
Hmm.
Mailing each other documents. Not I
Hmm.
didn't meet anyone through the whole process. Then my experience was that when I first reached out, I was sort of chatting with someone who managed a lot of buyers
Hmm.
agents,
Yep.
and then they sort of depending on what state or what areas were hot at
Hmm.
that moment, and my budget, they like assigned me to like, like another buyer's agent in that
Yep.
area who was focusing on one area. So that's how the process was. So it was
Nah,
definitely
makes
like,
sense. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
volume strategy.
And then the second time around, you didn't go back to that buyer's agent, but you actually ended up coming to us over at Co-Buyers. What was the thinking there, and why didn't you go back to that previous buyer's agent?
Few things, like first of all, yeah, I think I made the right choice. Like it was a
Hmm.
good experience with
Yep.
co-buyers. Um, yeah, there was a few things like leading me to that. So I guess first property was in middle of 2021,
Hmm.
and then the latest property with co-buyers was end of last year. So
Hmm.
it was like almost a year and a half in between. And during that time, yeah, buyer's agent prices
Hmm.
spiked up massively.
Hmm.
So I was already pushing it with like the first buyer's agent. The new fees weren't in my budget,
Hmm.
which is one factor. Whereas
Hmm.
like co-buyers was a lot more affordable.
Hmm.
But even apart from that, I think another reason what really motivated me to join Co-Buyers is I also wanted to learn about the process and see
Hmm.
what data points like are being used to buy a property.
Yep.
Because yeah, my first one, I was sort of going in completely blind, just
Hmm.
trusting someone who was sending me properties. The
Hmm.
second time, I'm not gonna go in by myself, but like I'd still want to see what data points are contributing to an agent's decision. So
Yep.
and yeah, co-buyers did that. So that was really like another huge reason why, yeah, I went with co-buyers.
You want to just walk us through like the property that we ended up purchasing?
My goals were first of all like high yield,
Hmm.
within my budget of like or like less than 500K.
Hmm.
I think one of the most important things is low vacancy rate,
Hmm.
which just means like a really stable like rental income.
Hmm.
And yeah, the property we ended up getting was I think 6.3% yield. And like yes, chatting to the local property agents and inspectors, like it was in a really good suburb with yeah, good like
Hmm.
lots of high percentage of owner occupiers.
Hmm.
And also, yeah, also like trotting along on Google Maps in that suburb. It did
Yeah,
look
yeah,
pretty good. I haven't been there myself, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, like it was a good, yeah, good spot overall.
Yeah, brilliant. Like that suburb was one of the most desired pockets of the suburb as well. And we missed out on a few properties to get that one, and that was mainly because we wanted to ensure that we weren't overpaying. The market was getting a bit hot, and there's a lot of owner occupiers putting cash only offers,
Yeah.
paying well over the market value. But we sort of stayed patient, and
Mm.
the main thing is we want to ensure that we're not overpaying. And because that's really where all the equity is gained, is when there are buyers out there who are willing to overpay for a property, and we don't
Mm.
want to be those people. We're trying to invest. So and I think what we do things a little bit different, is our service sort of even after the contract period. After you've settled, was I think we hooked you guys up with some really good property managers. And there was a few things that came up, even like well down the road in terms of like small repair jobs that you needed. And
Yeah.
we were there to just give you our 2 cents in terms of how we can bring the most value in terms of those repairs as well. And yeah.
Yeah, like I think that was a really good support system to have because
Mm.
yeah, Yeah, thank you guys for doing that. That was really helpful because yeah, when you just buy property, there's repairs coming in.
Hmm.
You have to decide on a lot of things really quickly, like
Hmm.
what tenants to pick, what
Yeah.
rent to settle on, and repairs and property management
Hmm.
fees and everything. So I think a buyer's agent normally has
Hmm.
like the contract says that the buyer's agent's job is done once a property
Hmm.
goes unconditional, or even
Yeah.
the offer is made, right? The offer is accepted.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
I think even like after the
Hmm.
offer was accepted till it went unconditional till even now,
Hmm.
like I think I
Hmm.
really appreciate the support.